Hello, Namaskar. Welcome to Cloud Pathshala. In today's video, we would be looking at AWS CLI commands for EC2. The idea of this video is to explore the AWS CLI commands for our day-to-day use cases with Amazon EC2 instances. We would start by first creating the EC2 instance using the run EC2 instance command. Now you could get all the documentation related to EC2 instances in the AWS CLI. All you have to do is search for AWS space CLI space EC2 and you would be the first result that you would be getting on the Google search is the documentation page. In this you need to search for run instances, which would actually get you started by creation of the EC2 instances. So let's quickly get started. For this I would be using the VS Code so that we could write the commands and then we would execute it from our place. So I would start by AWS EC2 run instances, which is exactly what is needed over here. Once we have done that, so we would have to start providing the input details for the instance which we want it to be created. I already have these details saved, so I would be the image ID. I would be taking in the image ID as this. This is an Amazon Linux 2 AMI, which I am using. The next thing that I would be doing is specifying the instance type. The instance type that I would be using for this demo is t2.micro. The next thing that we need to provide is the key name. So that would be key name, and the key name that I would be using is live demo, which is an actual key on my AWS account in the US East region. The next thing that I would have to provide is the security groups and the subnet IDs, which is listed over here. So let's actually provide these two, and what you could also provide is the count, the number of EC2 instances that you want to create. I'll keep the count of the EC2 instances as 2. So let's actually save this file and let's actually run this in our terminal. And once I run this details in the terminal, so it would actually give us a prompt of a JSON saying that the EC2 instances have been created. If it had any errors, it would actually give us an error saying that it was not able to create the EC2 instances. Let me quickly explain you the command itself. So we are using the AWS package. So in that we are using the EC2 instance service, so that is why we have AWS EC2. The thing that we are doing over here is running an EC2 instance, so that is why it comes AWS EC2 run instances, and the next few things are the inputs that we are actually providing. So the inputs are, you need an image ID, you need an instance type, you need a key value, the security group details, and the subnet ID. And if you would like to create more than one EC2 instance, you could always get that information over there. So let's actually see if I have my EC2 instance in the running state. Yes, they both are in the running state. There are few other EC2 instances which I've been trying, and that's why they are in the terminated state. So let's actually filter the EC2 instances that are only in the running state so that it is clear for everyone. And if you just refresh the page, you should be able to see the EC2 instances that are there in the running state. The next thing that we would be doing is, let's actually get a list of all the EC2 instances. For this, the command that we would be using is describe EC2 instances. So that is this describe instances, and if you just run this command, it would actually give you a JSON output, which would look something like this. It's a huge JSON output, but the art of doing this is you need to learn to write queries along with this. So what I'll do is I'll actually write a query. The query would start, because this is a JSON output, so you would actually have to start from the top of the JSON. So the top of the JSON is actually reservations. Once you have the reservations part, you need to give a square bracket, then a dot, and then you would go for instances, because groups is null, so you would not be actually going to groups, but you will be going to instances. And inside instances also you would be then giving us a dot, and if you would like to see the instance ID, which is this, you could type instance ID, which is this. Hopefully this works. So let's actually try to run this thing. I'll just copy this existing line number 5, and let's try to run this and see if it is working or not. Now if you are getting any errors, what you could do is you could put a star in reservations and instances. That should also work. The problem over here is, as we saw in the AWS console, we were able to see a lot of EC2 instances. Now how do we know which EC2 instance is the one which is running for us? What I could do is I could filter this with instance state. So I'm just doing a control F over here to see if there is any state. So as you see, the state, and it says terminated, so it is state, and then the name is a sub item. So what we need to do is you need to give a dot, and then you will give state and then dot name. But then this would actually give you an error. Now because this is an array, what you need to do is give a square bracket. After instance ID, it's a comma, not a dot, and if you give this, you should be able to get the output that you're looking for. So let's actually do this, and if you look now, you should be able to see the instances and their status, that is running or terminated. Now this output is very difficult to parse. Now what you could do is, if you would like to change the output, you could just say text text, and now if you run the same thing, you should be able to get the output in a simple text format, which would be instance and the state in the adjacent item. Now we know that these are the two EC2 instances which we need to play around with. The next thing that we would like to see is let's actually add some tags to these EC2 instances, because if you see, the name tag is actually empty, right? So if you would like to go for creating a tag, so you could go to the AWS CLI for EC2 and search for tags. There is something for delete tags and describe tags, and then you have something for create tags. So you could use this to actually create the tags for the resources. Now tags is very simple. It's just a key value pair, nothing fancy about it. Just copy the create tags part, and it actually needs you could play around with this, but you actually need two values, that is resource and tags, for this to work. So I'll just put resources and tags. In the resources section, I would actually providing the instance ID that we just got from here. So this is the instance ID that I have. I'll put the instance ID, and the tags would be in the form of key and the value. So the key here would be name, right? And the value of that tag would be let's say demo web server, right? So this is the thing that I have provided. Let's actually see if this works or if it needs any tweaking. So I'll do this, and hopefully this works, or else you will get an error saying that invalid parameter value, blah blah blah. The value of the parameter in the request is a null entry, so nothing to worry about. You could just come down, and here you see that the syntax says should be a string, which is good. Let's actually go for some examples, and in the examples you actually see there is a comma in between the key and the value. So let's actually go to our notepad. Now what I would be doing along with this is I would be uploading this as a Google Doc and would be sharing the link in the description of this YouTube video so that you could actually get all the tags from there. Now the command actually ran successfully, so let's actually see if this has completed. Yes, we have the demo server thing. Now let's say you forgot to put a demo server 1, so you could do that. And what you could do is provide the next server, which is this, with demo server 2 tag. Right, so this could be demo server number 2, and hopefully this does not give us any errors. And if you now refresh the page, you should be able to see that both the tags demo server 1 and demo server 2 have been added to the servers. Let's say you want to take a backup of demo web server 2. When I say the backup, it actually means you need to create an AMI out of the server. So let's actually go into the EC2 section of the CLI again and see if there is an option for creating an image or not. I'll search for image, and here if you see, we have an option to create image. And this has the option for the instance ID, which means that we should be able to create the image from the EC2 instance. But before that, let's actually SSH into the EC2 instance and see if we are able to connect, if we are able to get the proper backup of the server or not. So what I'll be doing is, because I need to connect to this server, I hope the internet is not allowed. So what I'll be doing is I'll adding a rule for the SSH from the internet so that I could actually connect to the servers. Okay, so that's done, and I hope both the servers are using the same security group, so it should not be a problem for us. Now what I'll be doing is quickly going into the new tab. I'll quickly jump into the place where I have the key, and I would click on connect. This should actually give me the SSH command. So yes, I am now connected into the EC2 instance. What I'll do is I'll quickly touch a new file, and let's say I want to echo hi YouTube and put this into the new file. So as you see, I have a file and the content of the file is new file hi YouTube, right? So this is what I want to do with these servers. So the next thing that we actually want to do with the server is actually create the AMI out of this. So again, the concept is the same as first, because we are using AWS EC2. We are creating an image, so let's create an image, right? So it's pretty simple over there. What I need to give is the instance ID. So yes, I'll provide the instance ID. Now make sure that you are providing the right instance ID, because the backup would be taken for that particular instance ID, right? So what is the instance ID? So that was web server 2. So let's actually see. I'll try to again get the describe to work, right? And this time let's also put the name tag. So this time what I can do is, if I have to filter only the second server, right, which is web server 2, right, so what I could do is I can use the filters this time to actually get what I actually want. So the describe command actually becomes this with this. So before the query, I would have the filters, and here what I would do is I'll give as demo web server 2, right, because this is the server inside which I have done the SSH and made the changes. So this one's a waste, so let's actually come out of that. I'll just do this, and hopefully I should only be getting one EC2 instance ID and one thing, but looks like I'm not getting anything. So let's actually see why. I think there's a typing error typo in server.2. So let's actually see if we are able to get it. Now, yes, I get the instance ID, which is excellent. And what I'll do is in the image ID, what I'll do is this, and I don't care if it reboots or not. It's totally okay for me. And what I'll do is now create the AMI. Let's actually see. Okay. So yes, it says that there are some parameters that are still missing. So let's actually see what those parameters are. If we get any examples over here, so that would actually help. Okay, so what I also need to give is the name and the description. So the name for the backup would be, name of the backup would be my backup, and the description is my EC2 backup. Hi YouTube. Right, so let's actually see if this works now. So this is how you actually write the CLI commands. It's not that you would actually be getting the right command in the first go itself. You might hit some errors, but that's the art of it. You would actually have to go through the documentation and try to figure out what is that one thing which is missed, and you need to incorporate it into your command to make it work. So as you see, the image is being created, so that is the AMI ID. So the AMI ID was the output, and if I look for this, so this is actually happening. What I'll be doing is from this AMI, which is I'll wait for the AMI to be finished, but what I'll now be doing is I'll be creating my EC2 instance out of that new AMI which was created. What is the new AMI ID? I have it in my clipboard. Obviously the count would just be 1, and that's it. Looks good. If I try to run this command now, I would be getting an error saying that the AMI is not available. Now this is because the AMI is still being created on the AWS side and is not in the available state as of now. It is still in the pending state, and this is why I am getting this error. Yeah, so that's the same error. So it says that I should either be having the parameter size or the snapshot ID. Basically what it means by the snapshot ID is AMI ID. So let's patiently wait for the AMI to be created. So as you see, the AMI has now come into the available state. So what I'll be doing is running the previous command to actually create our EC2 instance, and hopefully this time I should not be getting any errors. Now what I'll quickly be doing is, let's go into the EC2 instances page, and if I refresh, very soon the EC2 instance would come from the pending state into the running state and would now be visible for us over here. But since I would definitely not like to wait, what I would be doing is running this query, which is actually giving us a describe EC2 instances, and this would also give us the state in which the EC2 instance is. So as you see, this has now come into the running state, which is excellent. And if I now refresh it, should be there. And if I go to the connect, click on the example, and since I am already in the keys, let's actually hope to find our key pair over there. Now because this is a custom AMI, AWS was not able to actually recognize the user that it should be using. Now because this is an Amazon EC2, so the user that should be used is EC2-user, right? And hopefully I should be having the new file over here, and this new file should also be saying hi YouTube, and this is how you come out of the stuff. Now so there are a huge list of things that can be done using the CLI. This is just a few things that you could do on it day in and day out, and this can be automated quite easily using Jenkins or other tools. And at the very end, let's actually terminate the EC2 instances. So what I'll be doing is I'll be using the command instance IDs and click on terminate. And I could get the list of EC2 instances, or get a list of all the instance IDs from here. That is this, and once I get the instance IDs, I would be terminating all the instances in a single go. Now, even this part of the operation can be automated. I'll be creating another video around this on how everything can be automated in such a way that the output of the first command goes into a text file. Then we could actually read the output of the first file as an input of the second command, and then so we'll actually do that in the coming videos, wherein we could actually be able to create or delete the stuff. And I guess this should now work. Okay, so all the instances are now believe that they are terminated, like I do describe instances, and what we should be able to see is the instances are shutting down, and very soon the instances should also go into the terminated state. Now if you're still stuck, now if you're still seeing this video and if you have not liked the video, please like the video if you feel the information is helpful. If you feel it worth, please share it across on other social media platforms so that it reaches to other folks as well. And as you see, the instances are slowly coming into the terminated state, and all the instances have been terminated. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please like it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Keep having a great day. Thank you. Bye bye.